physician who's had my license for 40 years and had a very strong biochemistry background, I can say, and seeing what's happening with the X39, I can say without a doubt that this is the most significant medical breakthrough in my lifetime.
Hello everyone, Dr. Staci here. Welcome to our Tuesday evening Zoom. And I want you to know that I have a PhD in integrative medicine and a PhD in functional medicine. I am not a medical doctor, so if you have any questions regarding your health, please check with your healthcare practitioner. They'll be able to give you more information or be able to help in your care. And if you are pregnant or nursing or on medications, please check with your healthcare practitioner as well. The information that I'm sharing tonight is not intended to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose anything. So tonight's focus, and over the next coming weeks, we are going to be focusing on peptides. Peptides seem to be all the rave out there right now, which is very interesting. Those of us in LIFEWAVE are like old news. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about LIFEWAVE, and we're going to talk a little bit about peptides from a functional medicine perspective and how this is a tool in your toolbox. And so to do that, I'm going to screen share and share a PowerPoint that I created to kick us off with this topic over the next several weeks, especially since it's summertime and people seem to be pretty into the peptide world right now and when it's like this, which is good. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about peptides and phototherapy and cellular signaling so we can understand the latest advances in regenerative medicine. So for me personally, I've spent my career, which is over 20 years, in regenerative medicine and different therapies and modalities and techniques and tools in my toolbox. But we know that we're not looking in regenerative medicine for just covering up symptoms. We're looking to support the body's ability to repair, to regenerate, to perform at a high level, to get to the root of the problem. But today, one of the hottest topics in regenerative medicine is peptides. And peptides are just one chapter in a much larger story, as we know. And if you've been on these Zooms over the last months or years even, you've heard me talk about all kinds of things. And we're going to touch on a few of these tonight in our tools in our toolbox. But the future isn't about one molecule. It's about understanding cellular communication. So when we look at the future of regenerative medicine, we're not comparing products, but we're looking at approaches. So your lifestyle, we've spent a lot of time talking about your lifestyle choices. No one's perfect, of course, but those lifestyle choices have impact. And of course, we see when we're younger, a lot of times we have irresponsible lifestyle choices, let's be honest. And then we usually smarten up a little bit as we get older, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes that doesn't happen. And so those lifestyle choices really impact our life. Smoking, for example, is a serious lifestyle choice that creates dramatic harm inside of our body. I remember years ago, one of my good friends had been a surgical nurse. And she said, we can open the body up and we can open it up anywhere and everywhere. And we can see, the damage and whatnot. But she said the most dramatic damage inside of anybody's body is looking at their lungs of a smoker. And she said that's one thing that is so hard for people to recover from, is that smoking damage throughout the body. Lifestyle choice. No judgment if you are a smoker, but just saying that's one thing that, is very important when we're looking at regenerative medicine, that foundation. Looking at nutrition, the types of foods that you're eating. I was talking to a lady tonight at our event that we had at a salon, a spa, and she said, it's hard because we eat out. My husband and I eat out 3 to 4 times a week. We're in our 70s. We don't want to cook. And it's hard to find good, healthy foods, even whole foods, clean foods, when you're eating out in a restaurant situation. And then we look at hormones and our hormone balancing as we age. We all know things go wonky, perimenopausal, menopausal, and especially for men, things go out of balance in your hormones. And then looking at peptides and what are these and how do they impact our body? And what are they inside? How many do we have? What does that even look like? And then looking at light therapy, phototherapy. What are these tools that we can use in regenerative medicine to be able to support the body's natural healing balance? And then also cellular signaling. What is happening on the inside? That cell to cell communication, that foundational, functional communication inside of the body. So everything is building towards improving cellular function in the body. So why are peptides exploding? Because medicine is changing. And this is really, really, really good for us, for everyone on this planet right now. Medicine is changing. For decades, medicine focused on disease. Oh, you have a problem? Here's your pill. Oh, you have an issue? Here's your pill. Oh, you have a symptom? Oh, great. Here's your pill. Right? It's always focused on the disease and giving a pill for those symptoms or issues that people are dealing with. Well, today medicine's shifting towards optimization. And believe it or not, even if you're not seeing it everywhere, it is happening. We see this in functional medicine. We have medical doctors that are getting their functional medicine degree, their integrative medicine degree, because they know the power that the body has to repair and regenerate itself. And they know there are other modalities out there besides just giving a pill to mask a symptom. So people aren't just asking, how do I survive? They're asking, how do I perform better? How do I recover faster? How do I age better? Protect my brain, stay active longer. And that's why peptides have become one of the fastest growing areas in regenerative medicine, because people are starting to ask these questions. They're done, especially in the last 6 years. You know, I've been in this space a long time. I'm sure there's many of you on here that have been in this space much longer than I have. And you know the battles and the struggles and the hurdles we've had to overcome over the years. You know, I remember back when I first got started in this area, we were talking about clean facial products like mascara and educating people that it's important to use a mascara that doesn't have bat poop in it. And I remember thinking, bat poop? They put bat poop in mascara? Why is that even a thing? Like, why do they do the things they do? And trying to educate women on this and educate them on parabens and on these harmful chemicals that are inside of their skincare, their face care, their body wash, their shampoo. And they were going, what? What's in what we're using? Are you sure? Like, they thought I was crazy. But being in the wellness space, these are important things that people need to know. Today, especially after the last 6 years, like I said, more and more people are going, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not interested in the toxins. I don't want any of that in my body. I don't want that in my life. I don't want that in my home. So how do I help myself? How do I protect myself? How do I stay healthy and live the best quality life? And that's why peptides are exploding right now. They're not new to LIFEWAVE. We know that, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. But before we do, what is a peptide? So I love this analogy. Imagine every cell in your body, and you have over 30 trillion of them. Every cell in your body has a mailbox. You all can picture a mailbox, right? Peptides are letters carrying instructions. So peptides are the letters that go inside of the mailbox. They're the mail, and they carry instructions. So they're going inside of your cell. If your cells are every cell has a mailbox, these little peptides are carrying the instructions and putting them into the mailbox, into the cells. Some of the cells the letters are carrying cells instructions that say, let's repair. Some say, let's grow, let's burn fat, let's produce collagen, let's reduce inflammation. the body reads these messages and responds. So we know that proteins are amino acids, chains of proteins. That's it. That's what peptides are. They are the building blocks of your body. They are multiple strings of amino acids that form together in certain ways. For example, glutathione. Most everyone on the planet knows about glutathione, that master antioxidant, immune booster, detoxer. That is a tripeptide, combining three different amino acids together to form glutathione. Most of you have heard of GHKCU copper peptide. That is the peptide that X39 is elevating. That peptide, GHK, is a tripeptide. So we know that different peptides have different chains of proteins combined together that create this one chain, this one peptide that does a certain thing inside of the body. So when we look at the good news, peptides are very, very, very powerful. And I find that many peptide therapies are promising when used appropriately. And honestly, under medical supervision. When I first found out about LIFEWAVE, of course, I didn't need medical supervision because this is a non-invasive technology. We are not injecting a peptide into the body. But I'll be honest with you, after I lost Taylor 4 years ago, in 2022, my daughter, I went through a different level of stress inside of my body. And everything that I had done forever, for years and years, to support my body in a healthy, balanced state, all went out the window. And I gained a lot of weight. Call it stress, cortisol. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it was all of the above and probably so much more from losing a child. But I gained a lot of weight really quickly after she passed away over the course of the next 6 months. And so I was speaking with a friend and she said, you ought to see this acupuncturist. She has a medical doctor in her practice and she can help you maybe with, flipping that switch in your body, changing things around. And so, of course, I'm very familiar with acupuncture. I have done that for years and years. So I went to her facility and I talked to her as well as the medical doctor that was there on staff. And they talked about using a GLP-2 to help reset the metabolic system. And yes, I had been patching at that time, about a year and a half. And so I said, well, I used the patches. And she said, but things have changed in your body. You need to get your body back on track. And I'll help you and supervise you on this journey. And so I would see her every single week on a weekly basis. And that helped support my body and flip that switch that I needed at that time to be able to help me to lose that weight. And I did. I lost that weight over that next 6 months or so using that GLP from her. But that was extremely expensive. Very, very expensive. There was no insurance paying for that. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars weekly for that. And so when you look at these peptides, you want to make sure that they are safe. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But they do have some pretty significant improvements that are able to assist your body in what may be needed at the time. Short term, maybe even long term, if you don't mind using needles. Needles were not my favorite thing. I don't have a problem with them, but it wasn't something I wanted to do on a daily basis, right? So when I look at recovery and body composition, performance, tissue repair, metabolic health, skin quality, healthy aging, peptides do a lot of this. They do all of this, and they do a whole lot more than this. But you want to be careful, okay? So the problem isn't the peptide. The problem is everyone wants them, and because of that, the market has actually exploded faster than the regulations. And so when we look at this peptide boom, you can see not only, like I went to a medical clinic, you can see peptides there where she actually purchased her peptides from compounding pharmacies. Very legal here to purchase peptides from a compounding pharmacy. But you also get into telemedicine. And I've had friends that did that. And the telemedicine, it was like, oh, that's what you want? Great, we'll give you this. Here you go. Bye. And, it was just off they went and they got it and had to figure out how to reconstitute and do all the things with it, dosing and whatnot. Instructions, I saw one of my friend's instructions and it was extremely confusing. I'm like, I don't know how anyone would figure any of this out with her GLP that she was using at the time 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. But I know there are a lot of influencers out there on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. There's a lot of research websites. And we know that some of these peptides, a lot of these peptides are coming from China or other places where they have underground labs. And so the efficacy of that is sketchy at best. So we have the same word, peptide, but completely different levels of quality and oversight depending on where that is coming from. And so when we look at not every peptide is coming from the same place, you want to know what is the identity of this peptide? What's the purity? What's the sterility? What's the storage, the shipping, the manufacturing, the dosing? And is there any medical supervision? I know so many people that just go online and order and ship it to their door, and they've had serious issues because they mixed it incorrectly, dosed it incorrectly, had side effects, had massive issues at site of injection, allergic reactions, lots of bruising I've seen on people. And so you never know all of these things unless you are using a qualified doctor that is licensed to do that. So beyond peptides, as exciting as peptides are, they aren't the only way to influence cellular communication. So what if instead of introducing a signaling molecule like a peptide, you could encourage your body to increase and support certain naturally occurring signaling pathways? Introduce LIFEWAVE, what I have on my body. This is an alternative. And like I said, I've been with LIFEWAVE 5 years. And so I learned about, not that I hadn't known about peptides before, but they weren't very common. They weren't very well known. Yes, they were in integrative medicine. Yes, they were in functional medicine, but it wasn't something that people were utilizing actively. Of course, I had IV vitamin drips, and they had different amino acids in them, different electrolytes, vitamins, minerals, nutrients. I would get a Myers cocktail and they'd have a glutathione push at the end. That's a peptide, but it wasn't as common as it is today. And so when I found out about LIFEWAVE, I had a background already because of the IV vitamin therapy, mostly that I was a part of, involved in the past, and had partake in. But when we look at other ways, alternative ways of activating or signaling these peptides, signaling these molecules in our body, light is a solution. Light, our body's own light. Cells communicate through light. They respond to signals, and light is one of those signals. So the body is always responding to this. We go outside in the sun. I hope you all go out every single day in the sun in the morning and get that morning sunlight to reset your circadian rhythm, to help support your body in its natural healing processes. The sun is healing. It is restorative. It is reparative. It has the ability to elevate our melanin. This dark color on the skin is protecting the skin from the harmful, damaging rays. You've been lied to for years. And those of you that have been around before the 70s, you know this. Now, I'm not saying go outside and stay in the sun all day and get burnt and fried to a crisp and end up with skin, sun poisoning. No, I'm not. But we know that sunscreen never even existed. It didn't even exist. People just had tans. Their skins were glowing. And I'm not saying again that you lay on a rooftop with baby oil and aluminum foil like I may have done when I was in high school. But I'm blessed to have skin that tans very easily. But it's all about the body responding to the light, elevating vitamin D with sunlight. Vitamin D prevents cancer. If your vitamin D is high enough, and I'm not saying anything about any patches, if your vitamin D is high enough, you can't get it. You just can't get it. And the sun is responsible for elevating your own vitamin D, which is actually a hormone in your body. But we know there are many different types of light. There's infrared, there's far, there's near, there's mid. We're looking at many different tools in the area of photobiomodulation, lasers, many types of red light therapy devices, all different wavelengths of light. They're creating change in the body. But our patch, our patented phototherapy patch, takes advantage of that same biological principle, but in a different way. And so this patch is non-transdermal. When I put this on my body, nothing enters in. A wavelength of light is reflected into my body from this patch. Inside of the white part is what David Schmidt has invented. That is a lattice structure that is reflected, a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, sugars, oxygen, salts, water that are combined together. These molecules, not things from your kitchen, these molecules that form together to form this reflective lattice. Our body's heat or light that we are emitting is what's powering this patch, what's causing this patch to respond. It's causing the patch to reflect back a wavelength of light to elevate a peptide in the body, in the blood. How do we know that? We have clinical studies. Over 90 double-blind, many are double-blind, placebo-controlled. Not all are, but many are double-blind, placebo-controlled. Even peer-reviewed studies. We have a patent that states that X39 elevates a peptide, GHK, in the blood. That's measurable. Light creates that change. So you have two different roads toward cellular optimization. And again, I'm not saying that injecting peptides is a bad thing. I'm just saying be careful and know what you're doing. We're introducing signaling molecules when you're injecting peptides, but it requires dosing. You have to use a needle. That's invasive, even a diabetic needle. I used to inject vitamin B into my body, and I tell you what, I tried every spot under the sun. Arm, hip, butt, whatever. It didn't matter. The quad, all of it. Every time. Oh my God, it was so painful. But I knew the benefits of vitamin B. And yes, I could take a pill, but it was more powerful in injection. But sometimes it took a long time to get rid of those humps and lumps that the injection would cause underneath the skin, and the irritation, and again, the pain. And there's always potential side effects and risks. And not to mention that vitamin D needle when I used to inject that. Oh my God, that thing was huge. But we know that these are prescription based. Many of them require cycling. You could only do it so much, so long. You have to be careful. And they require medical supervision for many therapies. Of course, I was getting these vitamins, these injections from a physician, a licensed physician, medical doctor. But when we look at our phototherapy patch, it uses light signaling, light-mediated signaling. No dosing, no needle, no drug, daily application, simple wellness routine. So there's no side effects, no risk. We have over 90 studies, like I said. You have to report if there are any adverse effects. We have 0. I love when people say, well, what are the side effects? Well, you sleep better, you have less pain, less inflammation, you have more mental clarity, more physical energy, you heal faster from accidents or injuries, and gosh, life just keeps getting better and better and better the longer you patch. And they're like, those are side effects? I'm like, yeah, they are. Happy, healthy people. So when we look at injecting, there could be potential side effects or risks anytime. We know that. We're entering the body with a needle. That could cause some damage sometimes. So the future isn't either or, it's understanding all the tools available. Nutrition, movement, sleep, stress management, hormones, peptides, phototherapy, supplements, hydration, lifestyle. Everything is a tool in the toolbox. Functional medicine is never about one intervention. It's about creating the right environment for the body to function at its best. And these things matter. So I don't believe peptides are a fad at all. I believe they're one of the biggest breakthroughs we've seen in regenerative medicine. But I also believe that there's one piece of a much bigger conversation. The future of medicine isn't about replacing the body's intelligence. It's about learning how to communicate with it more effectively. And that's where peptides come in, that cell-to-cell communication, that signaling molecule, that biochemical reaction that takes place when you're elevating a peptide inside a body. So whether that's through nutrition, movement hormones, peptides, phototherapy, or some other emerging new technologies, which in functional medicine we're always open to listening and learning about, our goal should always be the same, and that's to support the body's remarkable ability to repair, adapt, and survive and thrive. But my clinical perspective from what I've learned after decades in this space is that the body is designed to repair. It needs the right environment and the right signaling. I can't do that for you. I can share the tools with you, but you have to do that yourself. And doing that on a daily, consistent basis, yeah, it takes some work. It takes some mindset, some shifts, some choices that you have to make. And what I see a lot of times with people is they come to me and they tell me about their issues, their symptoms, and they want that magic bullet. They want that patch that fixes it all. Give me the patch for this, and they'll rattle off whatever it is. I'm like, there's not a patch for that. Your body's out of balance. It's out of balance for many reasons. If we could have a conversation here about all the things that I just mentioned with diet and lifestyle and exercise and sleep and nutrition, all this stuff, we could have a conversation. It's out of balance. So there's not a patch to fix all, cure all, be all, do all for everything. This is a tool in your toolbox. But the best outcomes are going to come from combining foundational lifestyle practices with the evidence-based regenerative tools. So, that being said, I want to share something with you. There was a lady that I had talked to earlier tonight, and she was sharing with me, her goals and her health and what she wanted to accomplish. And she had taken really great care of herself. She'd taken great care, you could tell, of her outside, her skin and her inside of her body. But, she was aging. And she said, I'm in my 70s now. And, even though I don't have any health problems, just, my blood work looks great. But just a couple things have started to kind of shift. She could feel some things that weren't right in her body. But she said, I just had my blood work done and everything looks great. And I'll tell you, I hear this all the time with people that tell me, my blood work looks good, but I have these issues, these problems. And she was in her early 70s. And so when you look at the degeneration process in the body ages. And we can take good care of ourselves, we can eat and exercise and do the things, but the body is still going to degenerate. It's unfortunately just part of life. There's death, and it's coming. And so being able to use something in addition to what she was already doing that not only was powerful in helping the body to get into that balanced state with those things she was feeling, even though the blood work didn't show them. That's the beautiful thing about this technology. It's smart. Your body is smart. You signal the peptide, that biochemical reaction, that chain reaction inside of the body starts the process of repair, of regeneration, of restoration. And so being able to know that using this, I don't have to figure things out, honestly. My body will. It will figure things out. And I assured her that using this is going to help her body to start to feel more normal, like it did when she was younger, before she started to feel things go awry. And so even the blood work looking fine, she still didn't feel fine. And so giving that time of using the technology on a daily basis and knowing her age, at least 7 months. But I said, honestly, you've got some inflammatory processes happening. We're going to partner this with the Eon, and I would give it a year. Give it a year. But what if at the end of the year you no longer feel 70 with these issues, you feel 50? And she said, if I feel 50 in 1 year from now, I'm in. 100%, whatever it is, whatever you got, I want it, I take it, I need it all right now. Put it in my cart. Let's go. To feel 20 years younger in a year's time, where is that? Where does that exist? Because like I said, she said, I'm already doing, and we talked about her food, her nutrition, her lifestyle, the protein, all the healthy fats, all the good stuff. but again, the body is still degenerating. And so if you can knock off some of that time and help that body to restore, to get back some of that vitality, isn't that what it's all about? To help people improve their quality of life as they're aging, right? That chronological age, be able to help change that biological age for them so they have a better quality of life as they are aging. So if you are interested in any of the information that was shared tonight as a guest, please get back with the person that invited you. They can give you more information about our technology. They can be able to help get you set up with your wholesale pack of your choice, so you have the ability to start using these patches for peptide therapy in a way that is non-invasive and that is safe and effective and is proven to provide amazing results. And of course, the testimonials are out there as well too. Thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of testimonials from people. So thank you all for being here this evening.
Activate the power of your stem cells. What if aging isn't random, but the result of systems in the body becoming less efficient over time? Fortunately, your body's ability to maintain and perform depends on the health and activity of your cells, not your chronological age. LIFEWAVE's breakthrough cellular performance system reimagines the future of human potential, combining our patented phototherapy technology with the very latest in advanced nutritional support. Activate the power of your stem cells with an easy-to-use cellular performance system. LIFEWAVE X39 supports the activation of key biological pathways, while Cellergize Morning provides nutrients the body uses to respond, supporting cellular function and overall vitality. One supports activation, the other supports the conditions required to respond. Without activation, the body isn't triggered. Without support, the body can't respond. That's the difference between temporary support and system-level performance. Healthy stem cell activity refers primarily to increasing the cell's circulation and protecting them from oxidative stress. Stem cells are a key part of how your body maintains performance throughout your life. If cellular health declines, the effects of oxidative stress, including cellular wear and tear, energy decline, and other regenerative processes take over. Move beyond short-sighted energy boosts and let the science of cellular support power your healthy lifestyle. Start your cellular performance system today by simply applying X39 each morning to a recommended area of the body. Then, continue your morning routine by enjoying a glass of Cellergize Morning to help kickstart your day. The Cellular Performance System. Activate the power of your stem cells. Be the light. LIFEWAVE.
What if your water could do more than just hydrate? We drink water every day, yet 75% of us are chronically dehydrated. Why? It is the condition of our water. What if it could support your energy, balance your body, and help you feel years younger, one glass at a time? Introducing the LIFEWAVE X20 water machine, the world's first photobiomodulation water device. A breakthrough in hydration that combines biochemistry and biophysics to produce water that's not just clean, but energized. This is the future of functional hydration. Most water filters remove contaminants, but the X20 goes further, much further. It filters, restructures, and infuses light into your water to increase cellular absorption and energy potential. The result? Water your body can actually use more effectively. Here's how it works. The patented technology infuses light in the water you drink. The treatment stage charges the water with hydrogen. The water is filtered through two separate stages, removing contaminants such as heavy metals, microplastics, PFOS, and PFOAs. This creates coherent water that promotes hydration at the cellular level. In early testing, 79 out of 80 users felt a shift within minutes. Thermal imaging, microscopy, and energy field scans all showed rapid changes. These results were measurable, and they were fast, within seconds. When your body is better hydrated at the cellular level, you think clearer, move better, and recover faster. This water supports your body's natural ability to restore, refresh, and renew itself without chemicals or stimulants. If you want to be among the first to experience this new wave of wellness technology, click the link or reach out to learn how to reserve yours today.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. It all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we are made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LIFEWAVE phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. A patch is applied to specific points on the body where it covers the skin. Infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and its ability to heal itself. On a cellular level, this matters because many of the patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are naturally neutralized. LIFEWAVE. Live long, live well.